You start your day with the best intentions to be productive, but before you know it, there you are scrolling on your phone, playing video games, and yes, even watching this video. The solution lies in addressing 3 root causes, which are environmental, emotional, and biological. As a behavioral science researcher and entrepreneur, I've helped many clients overcome these challenges, and in this video, I'll share 4 strategies backed by real case studies to instantly boost your focus. And the first of these strategies is to integrate action into your distraction. You see, the 3 reasons we struggle to focus boil down to a model in social cognitive theory called triadic reciprocal determinism. Okay, fancy terminology aside, it really is quite simple. According to this theory, there are 3 and only 3 factors that cause us to behave in a given way. And those are 1, the interaction between our thoughts and emotions, 2, the environment, and 3, a combination of our behavior and biology. And as it turns out, these are also the 3 reasons we struggle to focus. In the case of my client David, it was at first very difficult to understand which of these was having the biggest impact on his focus issues. He works as a real estate agent and also has a full-time job with a crazy schedule, but he came to me already having what seemed like a pretty solid morning routine to get himself focused. In fact, he was doing all the things we hear the top personal development gurus telling us to do. Wake up early, recite affirmations, listen to audios or videos on personal development, read a bit of a good book in the morning, and so on. But when it came to actually getting things done for his business, things like making cold calls, networking, and following up with potential clients, he ended up falling flat. This, he explained, was because he would get started on a task and then suddenly he would lose focus and find himself scrolling on social media or doing something else. Is this what's happening to you too? So then what was the solution? Well, ultimately, I realized that his morning routine itself, as well as the type of focus issue he was experiencing, was actually a form of procrastination. You see, morning routines are helpful. I have one myself, but structured morning routines can actually become toxic if we're subconsciously and unknowingly using them to avoid doing real work. So how do I avoid using my own routine to procrastinate and instead use it to dramatically increase my focus and productivity? Well, I do the same thing I recommended to David at this point. Integrate action into your distraction. While starting our day with affirmations, reading, and so on isn't a bad idea, research on what are called flow states has shown that our mind is most primed for focus at the beginning of our day, right when we wake up. When I get up in the morning, I do my morning routine, go to the gym, read a book, write in my journal, and so on. But even before all of that, I do 30 to 60 minutes of focused work on either my business or my YouTube channel. Plus, while I'm at the gym on the treadmill, I have plenty of time, so I bring my phone with me and start getting a few minor tasks done at the same time. So how about you? Is this something simple you can start doing every morning? At times when you feel distracted or that you're procrastinating, can you take small actions that will help you build momentum? If so, why not start tomorrow morning, and after a week of doing this, let me know how it's going. As I explained to David, doing this one thing in the morning addresses the 3rd reason I stated previously we struggle to focus, a combination of our behavior and biology. When we engage in this small period of focused work shortly after getting up, we are subtly manipulating our own behavior to integrate a small habit of action each morning, and this literally helps to gradually rewire the neural networks of our brain, not to fear work and action, but instead to look forward to it. From there, all the healthy habits in our morning routine will work in service of that habit instead of against it. So that helped David get more of his work for real estate done instead of procrastinating on it, and this was tangibly helping him get more clients and make more money. But I soon found that we didn't quite get to the root of the problem. And that brings us to strategy number 2. Shift your environment. David was still leaving certain tasks undone and pushing them way into the nighttime instead of getting them done early in the day, which was then disrupting his sleep, worsening his focus the next day. Since he was already doing things like affirmations and exposing himself to personal development content on a daily basis, I didn't at first think to help him with the first of the 3 reasons we struggle to focus, the interaction between our thoughts and emotions. But as we'll see, that turned out to be the most important, but we'll circle back on this. Instead, we started with the 2nd reason, environment. And even though this wasn't the biggest factor affecting his focus, certain approaches to changing his environment helped him a lot. Let's see if they could help you too. Now, if you've ever read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear or The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, you already know how powerful our environment is for affecting our focus. For instance, I already know that it's incredibly difficult for me to work out at home, so I go to the gym. Likewise, it's nearly impossible for me to get work done sitting on my bed at home, so I'll either work at my desk or actually go out to a coffee shop. Makes sense, right? How does your own environment affect your productivity and focus, and what could you change? For David, I made all the typical recommendations. Recommendations, by the way, that truly have been proven to work. Put your phone on airplane mode while working on a task. Go out to a coffee shop or co-working space to make phone calls or get work done instead of trying to stay at home to do those things. Form an accountability group with other people, etc. But you know what really ended up working? Surprise, surprise, it was by addressing the first of the 3 reasons we struggle to focus, the interaction between our thoughts and emotions. Which brings us to strategy number 3, the 30-second pause. Again and again throughout our conversations, the same theme tended to pop up: lack of confidence. David lacked confidence when it came to making cold calls, he lacked confidence when it came to following up with clients, and he also lacked confidence when talking to new prospects. It's so interesting, right? Because a lot of the content we hear out there about how to stay focused deals so much with hacks for changing our environment, things like time blocking our tasks into a calendar and habit formation. This content often neglects the reason we struggle to focus that have to do with what's going on inside our own minds. So I asked David a simple question, a question you should ask yourself too. At the very moment you get distracted from the task you want to get done, what is the emotion you feel or the thought that comes into your mind? This question is targeted toward discovering our triggers. What emotion or thought actually prevents you from doing the thing you want to do? In David's case, he revealed that he thought things like, what if they say no? What if they feel like I'm inconveniencing them when I call? Or what if they don't like me and hang up on me? Essentially, these were emotions of fear, or as we observed earlier, lack of confidence. So I recommended to him to do the simplest exercise. And this was what ultimately helped him the most with his focus issues. I told him to pause for 30 seconds when he feels this way and to actively ask himself the following question. Is there any evidence to justify these ideas I am presenting to myself, or did I simply make these up? And this actually works. But why? Decades of research, as well as some new research, has shown that pausing for roughly 30 seconds after feeling an emotional trigger helps us manage that emotion more effectively. This is because when we feel an emotion, that emotion is produced by what is called the limbic system of our brain. If we don't take at least 30 seconds to pause before acting on the emotion, we don't give what is called our prefrontal cortex, which is the decision-making and analytical part of our brain, a chance to process that emotion. By slowing down and actively challenging the emotion with a logical question, we can more easily overcome it. And not only does this apply to David's case, but it also applies to pretty much any situation in which our lack of focus is caused by procrastination. Playing video games instead of working on that report, scrolling TikTok instead of making that call. In each case, pause for 30 seconds when you find yourself doing these things and ask yourself questions such as, is this really what I want to do right now? Or what emotion is causing me to drift off? And what small step can I take right now to stop it? Besides these kinds of emotional triggers, we could also be missing one of the most obvious reasons in this cognition category that we struggle to focus. Put simply, we haven't even defined our schedule. As Nir Eyal points out in his book Indistractable, many of us become distracted simply because we haven't created blocks of time for specific activities we're gonna get done. So yeah, of course, in that case, it's pretty easy to just sit there and zone out for 2 hours. So then ask yourself, is this foundational aspect of focus what you're really missing? Well, if you're already doing everything we've discussed up to now, but still struggling with focus issues, then not to worry, because not all issues with focus lie in the area of our thoughts and emotions. Instead, we have to revisit the second reason we struggle with focus, a combination of our biology and behavior. Which brings us to strategy number 4. harmonize tasks with your biology. You see, there could be biological reasons we struggle with focus. For sure, many people struggle with ADHD, executive function issues, and other issues that are deeply rooted in neurological function. But even in these cases, we can make a big impact. Let's look at the cases of both Mark and Sam as examples of two other of my clients who have dramatically improved their focus, but more from the biological side. Mark works in IT and struggles with specific mental health issues, which often prevent him from implementing a lot of the hacks we already discussed. And Sam is a business coach who has ongoing sleep issues and other medical issues. Each of them has two different reasons for their focus issues, but both of these reasons are largely biological. What did we do to address these? Well, as I'm not a medical doctor and can't therefore make any medical recommendations, I leave this between them and their doctor, we focused on approaches having to do with what is called chronotype. You see, our chronotype is the time of day we typically experience the most focus. In other words, there actually is such a thing as being a morning person or being a night person. In fact, you can even be an afternoon person. I definitely am not. As they were working with their doctors and other specialists on sleep and other issues, in the meantime, I asked them a simple question you can ask yourself. At what time of day do you feel most energized, focused, and productive? Your answer is most likely your chronotype. So for instance, I'm a morning person, so I make sure I time block all of the most important tasks I need to get done for the day in the morning and early afternoon. All of the lower priority tasks or tasks that don't require a lot of mental energy from me, I usually reserve for the late afternoon or evening. Not only that, but I take small breaks in the middle of my day, and yes, I do drink some caffeine strategically if I know I have something mentally demanding, such as a call or meeting that absolutely needs to be scheduled in the evening. And both Mark and Sam did the same thing. We also looked at basic dietary habits and exercise habits. I know, you've heard it a million times already that you should eat right and exercise, but it just can't be overlooked. Recent research seems to suggest that the most ideal exercise for improving focus and memory is what is called high intensity interval training, or HIIT. And it's also scientific common knowledge that eating a low glycemic impact diet, or in other words, a diet that keeps your blood sugar stable, has the biggest impact on focus. But I have to emphasize, doing the most ideal thing isn't necessary. Going for a 15-minute walk every day and doing something as simple as replacing refined wheat pasta with whole wheat pasta could make a noticeable impact on your ability to focus. And it made a tangible impact on both Mark's and Sam's career and business results, respectively. That means making more money. If you want to work with me personally to help you literally build your dream life and take a science-based, no-hype approach to get there, then click the link in the pinned comment below. So what are the real root causes of your own issues with focus? What are you going to do to commit to change? Not tomorrow, but today. Get started with changing something small. Commit to experimenting until you get it right. Because on the other side of it is the pride in yourself for finally getting it done. If you want to keep leveling up your critical thinking to make a massive impact, not only on your own life, but on the lives of countless others, then be sure to watch this next video.